Hello everyone and welcome to all of you. My name is Rachna Negi and today I'm going to talk about the process of audience generation. So when in Redefine Marcom Private Limited, we do audience generation activities. So for an event perspective, what are the procedures and what should be the process we need to follow? We are going to discuss today about that. So let's go further and talk about audience generation. So what is audience generation and how do we generate audience? So firstly, for audience generation, what is required? The requirement for audience generation is audience. So when we talk about audience can be anyone. For example, I am also an audience. I can also be a part of any event or activity. But when we talk about audience generation for a particular event, and as for the event criteria, so what we do is we undergo with a lot of filtration, with a lot of cross checking, with a lot of checking and all. So there we goes with, and there it comes the database part. So we filtered a lot of things, we cross check a lot of records, and then we get the database. So you would gonna understand better with this picture. As you can see in your screen, as you can see the database here. So now you understand that where does this database come from? This database has come from a very raw records when we take the briefing from client. So as for the client requirement, we filter a lot of records, we check the clarity, we check everything what client needs it, and then we prepare a set of record which is called database. Now further, when we add calling in it, what we get is we generate audience. Make sure when we add calling in it, we generate audience, and this audience generation is nothing but a quality audience. And this quality audience is made when we do calling in the database. So as you can see in this picture, this is also audience and the quality audience is also an audience. But as you can see the difference, the both audience are different. This one is the generated audience, which is when you added calling into your database. And this was also the database which has just filtered and cleared as per the client requirements. So in our event perception, how we do and how we generate audience, we are going to talk about on this point. So let's further discuss about the telecaller. So let's understand the telecaller perception, what exactly a telecaller expects. So whenever a telecaller, we give the event to a telecaller, what exactly goes into their mind? They expect a lot of things. For an example, they expect good amount of database, they expect updated records, they expect quality database, a script which they can follow for the event, official email IDs on the database, and etc. And now further go for the reality, what exactly the telecaller gets. So these are some examples. A telecaller gets limited database, not updated records, average quality of the database, a script I think which is not to given for the each of the activity, and personal IDs in the database, and etc. These are. So here comes the challenge and here comes the issue which each telecaller faces. Now we need to understand that how we can overcome these challenges and these problems. So let's get into deep what we can do to resolve all those issues and problems which a telecaller is facing. So here comes, we have to utilize the database. And how we can do the utilization of database? First, we need to keep in our mind, this is very basic thing and we have to admit it and we have to keep it in our mind that the database circulates from one project to another. It will definitely come back to you from one project to another because as it circulates. So what we have to do is we have to start updating the database, but not only for the confirmation, the registration we are receiving, but for the each record which has been given in the database. Now let's understand with this help of the picture. As you can see, these are the things which we need to maintain. So start with the complete database. We have to start completing the database first. What we have seen is people get the database, they start working on it, but before finishing the database, a telecaller asks for another database so that they can send invitation emails on that, and without calling they can get the much numbers. So I think first of all we need to stop this. Whatever database, whatever number of records you're receiving in your first lot of database, try to finish it and try to complete it. Second thing is what you need to do is you have to do a proper status. You have to maintain the status, the remarks on the database and into the each records, I would say, because it is very important. For example, there is a person who says not interested for your activity, but the person is not interested for this time. He might can attend the session next time. So put the reason why the person is saying that he is not interested. He may be not in the town, he maybe has some other works to do on that day. So put a proper remark so that you can use the database for next event accordingly. The third thing is add of contact. For example, you have got one record from one organization, and while calling and interacting with that person, you got another detail. So that is the addition of contact. So you definitely have to put all these added contacts into your database by putting a separate column that these are the added one. This will do what? This will help us to increase our database. The fourth thing is updation of mail IDs, whether it's official, whether it's personal. So I'll give you the each example for these things, how you need to update the email IDs. For example, a customer has registered himself online. You dropped a mail to a person where, I'll take you my example. You have given me the invite email with Rachna Negi 9@gmail.com, which is my personal email ID. But at times I'm going to register myself. It is asking me to put my official email ID. So I will gonna put my official email ID there. But now what a telecaller do is, a telecaller will put all, he will take all the details from the online registered and will update in the confirmation file. But you're again doing the same mistake. You're just taking the confirmation from the list of registration, just keeping into your separate confirmation file, but you're not updating it into the database. So this is very important that you have to update each email ID and whatever details you are receiving, you have to update this in the database, because right after the event finishes, you have to send back the database to the database team. So that again for another event, according to the criteria of client or activity, it comes back to you. Further is the designation update. So another one more example I would give. A client wants an event. They want to organize the event, which is only and only for the IT heads. Now you get the database of IT head, but at time when you're sending invite to the customers and they're sending back their registration with you, but they're putting manager ID or they're putting technical manager. So these are not the designation you are looking for this activity, because this is a very particular event which is only for the head ITs. Now the problem you're facing it because you already dialed the numbers, you took a lot of time to talk to the person, but at last when you get the registration, it is not as per the criteria. Now it's a waste of your time. So whenever you're using your own database for any event, try to update each of all these things so that next time whatever criteria, whatever kind of event is coming to you, you get the proper and updated records on it. Same we goes with industry update, turnover update and company update. These updates are again very important things. You might get an event next time which is only for a particular industry verticals. It is not for manufacturing, but it is for the BFSI or real estate. So put all the industry updates. And the very easy method I was going to tell you is whenever you are getting a confirmation on a registration file, so don't just take the registration from online file and just put a separate confirmation file, but try to upload all those same things, try to update it on your database. Then this will call the proper utilization of database and of each record. So these are the things I hope you will definitely clear it and you will going to use it further whenever you're updating the database and recording each of the records. So this will definitely help you, and this will surely, if you always start doing this, make a habit. This will, if this all these things which I have mentioned, if you're gonna start it from each of your records, this will surely gonna help you for whenever next time you're getting any event or the database, you would see the difference. Okay, this data was something else before I called on, before we used it, and now it is something else. So now the problem which arises with each telecaller, I think this will definitely going to resolve it once each telecaller take this step in their mind and they keep follow the same step. Now let's further go and talk about some steps of audience generation in terms of registration. So in terms of registration, what we have to do is the first step which all telecaller can follow is you should start preparing your own script. So this is not a very tough thing. You all can prepare your own script, how it would be. So you just have to mention the major points in your script, which are like, why should a prospect attend your event? What is the benefit to them? And are you addressing the challenge of pain areas to the target audience? So these are the three major points which you can add in your script and you're gonna prepare it. Now, this is not a script, as you can see in your, these all are the just major points. This is not a script. So for any event, do not wait for your senior or your team leader or your manager to give you a individual script for each particular event. Just make it a habit that you follow it from a step one whenever you're generating audience, whenever you're going through the confirmations. So just follow this. You should start preparing your own script, and for each activity, for each event, the opening pitch and the closing pitch would remain same. This cannot be changed. This would remain same. You just have to add these three major points in your script in between so that your script can be completed. Now I'll go with the opening pitch. As you can see the example, this would be the opening pitch for any of the event, any of the activity which you get. Then you're going to start with the greetings, which is usually a hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, according to the time you're calling to the customer. Now you're definitely going to ask that, am I speaking to the Mr. XYZ? Try to take customer name. Stop using sir and madam on a call. You should definitely start speaking the person name, because this is a professional call. You should definitely address a person by his or her name. So whenever you're confirming that you're speaking to the particular customer or client, just further go and introduce yourself. That my name is XYZ and I am calling on behalf of the client name. And now we have a lot of clients in Redefine. If you are working for Tata Teleservices, just use that I am on behalf of Tata Teleservices. If it's for Micro Focus Avaya, just put the client name that you are on behalf of. So don't forget to mention behalf of, because you're not directly from the client organization. We are the organizing partners. We do organize events for the clients. So we are always be on behalf of. So always put this on behalf in your script, in your opening pitch. Now, after you introduce yourself, take a permission to the customer that if he allows you to talk further, if he allows you to discuss what exactly this call about. So take a permission, that is the good time to talk, and then further go ahead. Ask the client with his name, just address him and then tell him that what is the purpose, that the purpose of this call is actually to invite you for our upcoming session, which is on, and then put the topic, say the topic over a call, whatever topic it is, whether it's a CIO club meet, whether it's a Green Lake IT management services, wherever the topic it is given in your idiom. So whenever you're making a script, open your idiom in front of you and then prepare your script. So this will become very easy for you. Now just tell the date and the timing of the session, that this is on this particular date and this would be the timing. And then in between we have discussed the major 3 points which you have to mention and put. Say the same thing all over a call, and then you will get your closing pitch, which will again be a very simple. Whenever you done with all the major points, you already told the person what is the session all about. What in between 1 hour is going to be happen, what are the topics, all those things. Now at the closing you have to make sure, you have to, because before any call you have to send the invite to the person. So just ask the person whether he has received the mail or not. If he did not receive the email, just try to confirm his email address, because there might be a possibility the email ID in your database is incorrect. So just ask over a call that I would like to confirm your email ID, whether it's this. Just confirm the same and update it in your idiom, update it in your database. Now, if the person did not get the email, just send the invite him once again and just ask him that what would be the best time, a better time to him for register or reply or register himself. So just ask for a time and just show some courtesy and just close your code. So now further, as you can see, you now know how you can start, how you can prepare your own script where your opening, closing would remain same, and for each different activity, you just have to add on those 3 major points. Now let's forward to the step 2. The step 2 is the email sending part. Now, I have seen a lot of people who have started working from step 2. They usually skip the step 1. So just make it a habit, as I'm saying is, make it a habit. Do not wait for your seniors or anyone else. We're gonna make a script for you and then we'll send it to you. If it has come to you, then it's okay. If it has not come to you, you will starting from the step 2. Do not use the same procedure. Start from the step 1, prepare your script, and then go to the step 2, which is the email sending. Now, when we say email sending, email sending still are the most effective promotional tactics for any event or for anything. I would tell you the example. Most of the internet users are who are right now using the internet. If you'll ask them, the 90 to 95% people would say that this is email sending is the most professional way to doing any activity or anything. So, so what are the do's and don'ts while email sending you guys need to follow? So these are some do's. Try to send personalized emails. Personalized emails would address a person by his or her name. That will be more good looking so that the person would gonna see, okay, the mail has come with my name, the mail is addressing me, so definitely this mail is for me. Second thing is check the email formatting before sending. You must have a look once before sending your email to the customer. Just have a look whether the formatting is clear, perfect or not. Check if the font size is somewhere is big or somewhere is small. So keep a look and then send it to the customer. The third is keep the balanced color in your idiom. So whenever you're sending email to the customer, it's a very professional email. So use the professional with the colors which are which are the very balanced for your idiom, so that it look that it is a personal email, but it's not a birthday or a party invitation. So you have to make the difference between the party invitation or between the official invite which you're sending to the customer. So keep the balance on colors. And the fourth and the very most important thing, that mention the online registration method into your email. Whenever you're sending the email to the customer, do mention the online registration method. Proceed for the don'ts. You should stop sending email blasts multiple times. As I said, send personalized emails where a person would receive by his name or her name the email. So do not send a blast mail where you're just putting dear or dear sir or madam. It could randomly go to each and everyone. Suppose I get the mail, if I can see the mail in my inbox and I can see the written is over there, dear sir, ma'am, I would say, okay, so this mail definitely goes to multiple customers or multiple people. So it's not that important for me. So I should skip. But if the mail comes to me with Dear Rachna, so I would definitely think, okay, this mail is actually for me. So I'm going to read it. So stop doing the email blast things, because the second problem is when you do email blast, the person might do not get your email. It can go to their junk folder, spam folder, they do not get it. Out of 10 or 20, maybe there are 5 or 6% gets the mail and rest receive it in the spam folder, and people do not check it. So these are the don'ts you need to keep in your mind, that you should not follow it. Second thing is, do not edit your own. Why I'm saying this, do not edit your own, is because whenever an EDM comes to you, it comes with a proper check, with the proper content and formatting, with your seniors or somebody if you're receiving it. So make sure, if whenever you're doing editing into some, maybe you want to send a reminder email to somebody and you have to put reminder, and whatever changes you want to do it to just to so that your customer can engage more. So if you're sure that this email is correct, then only send it, or else check with your seniors that if this email is fine, if I can send it to somebody. Or if it's not looking good, do not send this. Check the editing part. The third is, do not add vibrant colors in your idiom. As I said earlier, use the balanced color. Accordingly, do not use vibrant colors. I will give you the example for the how I'm talking about, like for what I'm talking about, which vibrant colors you should not use and which balanced color you must use. And the fourth last thing, which is in your don'ts, is do not focus on email confirmation. As I said, mention online registration method so that a person can go to the registration link and can give you 1 or 2 minutes of his time and can register himself. If you'll give him the option of email confirmation, again, here also the customer is giving his time and replying you. But if the person is going to register himself, right after the registration, he will going to receive an acknowledgement email. But when a customer is replying you, So it happens a resource or a person is not registering that confirmation right at the moment. Maybe the person is registering after 10 minutes, after 2 hours, or maybe the next day. So the focus and the flow of the registration, it is imbalanced now. Because if the person registered himself at moment, he received the registration at the same time. So do not take it on your own. Let the customer register himself. So this is the step 2 of email sending which you need to follow. Now have an example of incorrect mail. So in your screen, as you can see, a sender has tried to forward an email to a customer. He tried to forward an email, but he forgot to remove the forward from the subject line. As you can see, the starting 2 lines, which is the fonts are different, the sizes are different, and it is not looking good, it is not appropriate. And as you can see, the person which is mentioned in the note that there is no registration charge, the sender has highlighted it with the yellow. And the below briefing about the early bird gift, it's in the blue highlighted. So as you can see, this mail is incorrect. And the main important thing is the process of registration which is mentioned here is, you have mentioned that kindly reply to this mail with your following details, which you have not to do it. You're asking the customer to send the detail, just reply you in line. This we don't want it and we will not gonna accept it. So this method is totally incorrect. You let the customer register himself by clicking on the register now, and you should not follow and you should not tell the customer that register or reply on the same mail, or you're gonna take it on your end and you're gonna register the person later on. No. So this is the example of incorrect mail and we do not want it. Let's take an example of correct email. So as you can see here, the sender has tried to forward an email to a customer where it is the subject line, as you can see, it's perfect. Now the sender has mentioned and addressed the person with his name, dear Naveen. Now it's looking fine, and the font and the size of the content is still same. Now if you can see here, the registration process of sender has mentioned a link, a register now button is given there so that a customer can click on it and can register himself on his own. So this is the process which we need to follow. We have not highlighted anything here because we do not want it. We need to use the professional color. Make it simple. The more it will look simple, the more it will look professional. So this is the correct one, the correct mail which a sender has to send to each of the customers. Now let's talk about the step, the telecalling important point. So while when we comes to the telecalling part, when we call customer, so these are the things we need to keep in our mind as we have to clear our objective about the event. And how it can get clear, we have to use our script here, which we have made, which was our first step. So use your script here, clear your objective about the event because the important points you have noted and put in the script. So use your script. This will gonna more clear your objective and you will freely tell the customer about the event. Now the next point is, which is very important, that over a call, you have to sell your experience, not the product. Now experience, I'm not gonna count the experience which is the official or you have worked somewhere else. The experience is experience which has come by your daily life, your daily routine. For example, if you are at home, you need to go to a function which is prepared by, which is organized by your school or a tuition. You want to go to that function. Now you're telling your mom, you're telling your mother that I have to go there. These are the things, but your mom is not agreeing, and she's saying no. She's not giving you the permission. Now what you will gonna do is, here, this is the experience. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna try to convince her. You will tell her that if I go to this school function, these are the things which are gonna clear my points, because it is very important for all the students or all the kids wherever who all are coming there. It is very important for them. And what are the benefits you're gonna get if you're going to that function? And just tell her that this is not something harm if I'll go to this session. So you'll try to convince her, and at the you'll say something, and then she'll say okay, she'll agree with it. So all these, I'm telling you the experience, this comes from your daily routine, for your personal life also, for your official life also. You have to say some words, you have to choose your lines perfectly. You have to choose your statements and sentences that correctly, which comes here. And this will definitely going to help to get more audience generation. Now engage with customer. Whenever you're calling, do not just go with the flow of your script which you have made, but you have to also do interaction with client. Just try what the what is clients, what is the customer's mood right now. So just talk accordingly, engage with the customer, tell something different, tell about the procedure, tell about the session deeply, right? Just do not follow the script as it is. Try to interact, make the call very interactive. The third thing is you have to be very prompt and we have to be very positive. Suppose a customer asks you something else which you have not added in your script, but a customer wants to know. Because if a customer is giving 1 hour or 2 hours of his day life to your session, so definitely he would gonna ask you a question that why should I, give my 1 hour to your session. So if he is asking some queries and if he has some question, you have to be very prompt and positively reply to that person. So this make sure you're prompt, you're very spontaneous at the same time, and you're replying the customer. Because if you'll take pause, the flow of the call, the flow of interaction got cut at the same time. Now, fifth thing is courtesy. Why courtesy is important? Try to give time to your customer to speak. Try to listen. If the customer is saying something, just give a time. Just take a time, listen to the customer, what he's saying, and then reply accordingly. It is not you are calling to the customer, so only you are the only person, and you're going to tell him. You're going to speak him. No. Give the exact and the same time to the customer also so that he can reply and he can ask you the same things also. The sixth thing is building bond and relationship. So building bond and relationship, how it is going to help you for the further activities. Suppose a customer say not interested for this event. Now do not just shut the call at his face, but try to be very nice and calm with him that okay, so if this time it's not possible with you, I believe we are gonna same organize a session next time also, and you can attend the same one. Now make a bonding with them, build a bond, build a relation, so that next time whenever you're calling to a person, as I said, the database will circulate and will come to you again. So if the second time the person comes to you, you will gonna call the person. And if your bond and your call was very interactive with that person, he will definitely remind you. And he will say, and he will definitely think in his mind that, okay, last time also you have called, I was not that time able to, attend the session, but this time I can. Or if this time also he does not attend the session, never mind. Just give him a time. Maybe the third time you can attend, because database would definitely come to you again and again. Because we are working in the same industry, we have a kind of a similar event, so it will come to you anyhow. So start building relationship, start building bond. Do not cut the call on customer face if he says no. And the last and a very important thing, ask customer to do online registration. These points you have to clear over a call also, because if you will ask the customer that there is a link in the EDM, you will check it, you will click it on the link, and you have to register on your own. The customer will definitely do it. And once you do the registration, at the same time on spot, he will get the acknowledgement. Last but not the least, timely follow-ups. When you do all these things, what you have to do is, you have to follow up the person, the customer on time. If a customer has said to you that call me at 5 o'clock, do not forget. Just call the person at 5 o'clock and then just listen what happens next. It's fine if the person is not replying you that day, maybe next day or maybe next to next day, but just try to follow up. If the person is like, call me back later within 15 minutes, so just do it, because customer, you need them. They don't need you right now. Right now, you need them. You need to get them on board in your registration into the event. So you have to follow the customers. So let's talk about the step 4 is that once you get the registration, so what do you have to do further with the registration? When you receive the confirmation, just check the confirmation with the event criteria. And don't forget to take the criteria from your team leader or the manager whenever you're starting the activity. So check the criteria. If the registration matches from the criteria, what you have to do is, you have to send the thank you email and call to the customer. I'll say both the things, how these both things are important. Mail should go to each confirmed cases. It is not like the confirmation you have not received on the online, you will not going to send it. No. Send the confirmation email to the each registered person. call. To whom you're going to call? You're going to call to the customer, those customers who have given you the confirmation, just whom you have sent the email. You have not interacted with over a call. You just send an email, and the person has looked into the mail, and he just registered himself. Now you have not done the conversation with the person for the event. It is just a mail which he has received. So call the person so that the person knows, okay, the client and the person has received my registration and he has acknowledged me. So make sure in your mind, whenever you get the confirmation, send the thank you email to each everyone and call only those prospective. Do not call again and again to the people who have already you have called up. You have called, then you followed, then you again followed the same person. He was interested and he registered. Do not call the thank you one. Call only those who have done the registration by just getting and receiving your email, whom you have not interacted with, because it is very important to give a call to those. The second thing is, if your confirmation matches us, what you have to do further is you have to send acknowledgement emails few days before the session. Now these are only the acknowledgement emails. I'm not talking about the call. Do not call the customer multiple times. So few days before the session, always send the acknowledgement mail. What it will gonna do is, this will be help the registered delegates to keep update on the session. They will be aware that, yeah, okay, few days after there is a session. So it will be acknowledgement mail sent from your end. The third thing is, you have to do reminder calls and emails. You have to send emails, you have to do calls one day prior to the session. Now this is important and you have to do both the things. Here the calls would also be required and the email will also be required. So this will help the registered delegates to get ready for the next day. So that they'll be, the thing will be in their mind, okay, I got a reminder call, they remind me just now for the today's session and got an email also. The fourth and last thing, the final reminder. The final reminders are very important because here exactly you got to know the idea that how many delegates is actually turned up. Because sometimes you do not get the file or maybe it's missing, but if you do the proper reminders, you get to know the idea that how many of your registered participants is actually turned up. Another thing, after receiving the confirmation, if your confirmation does not matches to the criteria, what you have to do is, you have to send the regret mail right away. But the regret mail should be written with the proper manner, and it has to be the proper reason that why you're regretting to the customer, so that once the customer receives the regret mail, he or she should not feel bad or should not reply you with the bad statements that why did you invite me earlier if it's not matches to the criteria. So put the proper reason, put it proper manner, just apologize, just written on, just write some nice words on a mail so that the customer who received the regret mail do not feel sad. So these are the few points and these are the few steps which are very important. So I hope definitely this will gonna help. So this is all from my end, and I hope if you follow this procedure, this process, so will definitely help you to get more numbers, to get more audience generation activities, and the issues which you face, you will resolve it on your own. So thank you so much, and this is from my end. Thank you.